Good morning, everyone. It's 7 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. Welcome to the show. Thanks very much for being here. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing, is on the phone with me. Tommy Golife, your morning mayor in the house. And Shane, it's Lent.
I know. A remarkable holiday. And your president, of course, who's Catholic, didn't take the offering yesterday and received the ashes.
Yeah.
And, not probably going to go to church, but, he's in Delaware.
I guess, yeah. What are you giving up for Lent, Shane?
What am I giving up for Lent?
Yeah, you give up something for Lent. You make a sacrifice for Lent.
A ham sandwich.
You good Catholics do that every year, So.
I don't consider myself a Catholic. Ham sandwich.
Well, in honor of our Catholic friends out there, I'm giving up swimming till July or sometime. But,
well, there you go.
Yeah, that's it.
That's not a healthy thought.
That's for sure. Well, it's perfume.
Do you have your Skype on?
Can't get it on this morning. Sorry, can't get it going.
Wow.
So I don't know. It's telling me I tried to log in too many times and I'm locked out. So.
Oh, I'm gonna miss you.
Well, yeah, that's okay. We'll be fine. Well, it's Perfume Day, Shane. Perfume Day should be the day before Valentine's Day, I would think, but I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, the remarkable thing about that industry, that industry is over 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
The other thing that's remarkable about it is the annual new perfumes for both men and women that they come out with. And it's quite remarkable because it's such a narrow market because of what they charge for them, right?
True.
I mean, like the new ones are, for an 8-ounce bottle of perfume, it's $250.
Yeah.
I mean, my standard is Hugo Boss 1, the original 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to find anymore. So whenever I find it, I do buy it. But that's been my cologne for 60 years.
Yeah,
probably 60 years. No, 50 years.
Yeah, well, the other thing, it's Random Acts of Kindness Day. You got to do that.
Right.
That's what we're doing today, Shane. So. This is a random act of kindness.
An act of kindness. You think so? It's very kind of you to have me. So that's
there you are. See, it's a random act of kindness to be here with you and to be here with our listeners and everything. We've got some late news that just came in, Shane. The Secretary of State has voted they've verified significant signatures. The No Labels Montana Party will be on the ballot. So if anybody is signing up to run for office under the No Labels, they will be on the ballot in November. So there you go.
Well, your founding fathers never suggested, either in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, that it's a two-party system.
Yeah.
That's just happened. That's just happened over the centuries.
Mm-hmm.
I think more because of money than anything else.
Well, I think so. You're probably right. So
the cost of setting up. I mean, if you remember, that wacky guy, the mayor and owns Bloomberg. Oh, Bloomberg.
Yeah.
When he decided to run, he spent $800 million.
Yeah, of his own money.
He spent $1.2 billion, but he had to spend $800 million to sign up or apply for or register in every state.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just to register.
Yeah, running for office is not cheap.
No.
That's why everybody's always screaming for money. I get about 10 texts per day, Shane, from the Democrats. Got to do this, got to do that, whatever. So.
Well, and of course, the truth is in the Trump, not the pudding, the Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a man who did everything by the book. He built an incredible brand. I mean, we've talked about the Trump company. it generates over $500 million a year in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So all the talking heads this week, like, just go check it out. I mean, and so having said that, it's a brand. It's not a graft. The Biden brand is a grift operation. They're going around grifting everyone for money. And it's sad that we have to see in the case of two people running for president in your country, one who's a builder and one who's a grifter.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we go through the show today. But, the big news, there's a couple big things that happened over the past couple of days. One is Caitlin Clark. If you don't know who Caitlin Clark is, you ought to check her out. She just broke the record for the women's basketball points. The only player with 3,000 points and 1,000 assists in her career, and she did a 3-pointer from mid-court. I know.
From the insignia. From mid-court, she tossed the ball and dumped it.
I know. It was pretty remarkable. She ended up with 49 points in the game, and so it was quite a big deal. And the other thing, Shane, I don't know if you read about this, but they're coming out now with at the All-Star game, basketball NBA All-Star game, they're going to have a glass floor that will show the stats, the time. It'll have all kinds of things on it. I saw a little bit of it last night, but it's pretty remarkable. I played basketball in both high school and college, and I don't know about running around on glass, Shane.
Well, two things on that. This is to set up AI for reffing. That's really what it is. They'll probably test this is like a test run. They'll probably have it running and see how it works out. Mm-hmm. But secondly, I think it's doing unfair, not just to the players, but because of the reffing. Yeah, how are they going to clearly see where what's going on with the ball traveling and other types of penalties they could call? It's just one of those things that you go, what?
Yeah. Well, they had the 3-point line with some kind of graphic going around it, like, some diamonds or something showing. I don't think it shows up on the floor. I think it shows up on TV. So that's the difference. Anyway, we got a caller waiting, Shane. We got to get some phone calls in here and get this show on the road.
All right.
406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you are on with the award-winning Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. Jerry from Big Timber here, and we've got about a foot of snow out here.
All right.
So it's welcome. It's welcome snow. How about you, Tom? Did you get any?
Well, we got a little bit. It was 8 below coming in this morning.
Wow.
So it was, it wasn't, well, better than 40 below that was not long ago, but.
Right. I have just a rhetorical question first. Tom, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Attorney General and the New York State Legislature extend the time you could bring charges, statute of limitations on the first two civil trials to a couple of decades? They added a couple of decades to that.
I hadn't heard that. I know the E. Carroll defamation thing, they brought back a 1-year moratorium for, it was designed for people who had child abuse, to refile. Mm-hmm. And she took advantage of that and decided she would file under that.
So she was an abused child. Trump abused her as a child? Okay, yeah. But the first one, which was forgot the name of the woman who brought the charges, but they extended, if I'm not mistaken, they extended the statute of limitations a couple of decades just so they could bring this woman in and accuse Trump of slander or defamation, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, they made a 1-year moratorium that any statute of limitation that had expired due to child molestation or abuse or whatever. But
But
I guess
both
his
cases,
domestic abuse was also included. So there you are.
Well,
But
the thing
in
I was
both
going to
cases,
ask is,
in both
go ahead, Shane.
in both cases, that's one of the prime appeals in their appeal they'll make. Both of those statute of limitation extensions are unconstitutional, and particularly in the real estate fraud case. So that's probably going to end up. It'll end up, if they don't throw it out, which they will. They certainly will reduce what he's being ordered to pay, which they wouldn't allow him the normal 10%. They want him to put up the full amount, and but it won't include interest, which they say will put it over $400 million.
Well, the question I was going to ask is, has any other woman come forth in New York State and taken advantage of this extension of the statute of limitations that they were harassed, slandered, defamed? Has anybody else come up and taken somebody, taken some man to court? I don't think so.
Well, they could have. It's just a matter of, was it a famous person or not? I mean, it could have been domestic violence or something like that, that happened years ago.
And a case of money. She clearly has somebody backing her in the case.
Yeah.
Well,
that
we know
her
that
trial easily cost her
And gentlemen, there was no complaint in this latest suit. This judge had already ruled on this before, any kind of a hearing was started. Yeah. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion what was going to happen to Trump.
Yeah, this judge had already ruled a year ago in January against the Trump organization for $600 million. So, for him to be on there after having ruled against them, I don't know. I think that's would be pretty strong evidence for grounds of appeal.
Well,
it is. That's another one. Another one is his denial of Trump's right to a jury trial. He wanted a jury trial, and the judge wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well,
and the fact that this case has never been taken on by anyone else, but the bigger problem that they have in it, you'll find this interesting. The state of New York collects $7.3 billion in Article 9A corporation franchise taxes. That's just Article 9, and $1.5 billion from other corporate taxes. Just to give you an idea, the total New York received $117 billion in tax collections. So that's a big chunk. And when you look at even the general fund total of $108 billion, for fiscal year, it's going to create a nightmare, because I see every major corporation registered in New York leaving. There's no way they want this risk. They can't afford it. They're better to go to Delaware. It's a better state with better corporate precedent in business and corporate business. That's why most corporations, like 80% of companies in the U.S., are registered in Delaware.
Right. And gentlemen, this also sets a precedent. I mean, if Biden leaves office, whether he's voted out in the next election or whenever, people could turn around and sue this guy in civil court. I mean, these people are just, really stepping in it. In my opinion, they're setting themselves up for future civil lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
Once especially
the judge, there was one example where one of Trump's lawyers objected to a screenshot that they had on the wall, and he told this woman judge or woman lawyer that if she objected to it, he would charge her and threaten to put her in jail. And as a lawyer, she has every right to object to anything.
Right. Oh well, of course. This is a sham trial, and it's all election interference. And as far as I'm concerned, that statue of Lady Justice with the scale in her hand?
Yeah.
and the blindfold. How about you take the blindfold off so you can see what the heck is going on?
Yeah, there you go.
You know.
Well, the first thing she'd see is the first thing that she'd see is a brick on top of the one side of her bow.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
The balance.
By the way, gentlemen, they had on the news that the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, President Biden said it was an act of greed. And I was thinking to myself, really? An act of greed? I mean, where does this man come off saying something like that? I mean, come on.
Well, it's pretty horrific because when we did a deep dive on this a year ago when it happened, we found out there are over 300 derailments by trains in your country on average a year.
Right. Well, we had a bunch up here in Montana.
So true.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, guys, did you ever notice how ironic the Democrats are, and they object to this Alexei Navalny, his death in prison?
Yeah.
Did you ever notice that? And he was an opposition candidate, and they just say he died. You know, he went out for a walk, and all of a sudden he died.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh, really? Really? He just collapsed? I mean, come on.
Did they check his paper sheets?
Well, he was in a he was in a North Arctic. He was in a North Arctic Siberian labor camp. That's where he was, and died.
Yeah. Right. I understand this, but what my point is they object to this death by this guy because he was a political opponent. You know, but they don't object to what they're doing to their own political opponents here, these Democrats. It's hypocrisy, and they object to Putin's Russia, and they used to like Putin's Russia, and now all of a sudden they like the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainians, in my opinion, are totally responsible for what's been going down in election interference. I don't think the Russians had anything to do with election interference. I think the Ukrainians did. It's a total reversal of their of what they used to do. It's incredible, and I believe that this money that's going to go to Ukraine is a bribe to keep their mouths shut because they know something about the Biden family.
Well,
there's no question compromise, but finally this week on several of the networks, all of them, admitted to a large portion of all these funds that have gone to Ukraine have gone to pay for pensions because people wouldn't have any. The country has no revenue, and to pay for government salaries. And so they keep saying they're in the the fourth year of this. And, it's been going on for 16 years now. I mean, it was going on for 12 years before he invaded.
Absolutely, but remember that how much the Ukrainians weren't liked by the Obama Biden administration when they invaded Crimea. What did they give the Ukrainians in those days? Do you remember?
Blankets.
Blankets and MREs.
There you go.
All of a sudden they want to throw billions at them. Something's up, guys.
All right, thanks, Jerry.
Call me conspiracy theory.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Thanks for taking my call, guys. Have a good day.
Take care.
You bet.
Bye-bye. 522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, this is not my topic, but I want to make a quick comment on this.
Sure.
Somebody walking around and just died. Andrew Breitbart. That's what happened to him quite a while back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, what I want to talk about is satellites. They say Russia's getting real close to taking out our satellites. Pretty much everything we have depends on the satellites, GPS, and they're saying that 60% of the military relies on our satellites. If the satellites are gone, our military cannot operate. And we do have a little bit of protection up there. SpaceX, and I like to remind everybody that who got that going. And at the time, I wondered, why do we need that? And now we know. And
Well, that's why
President.
Trump created the Space Force. Everybody laughed at him, but, again, he was ahead of his time. And you're right about
Yeah.
SpaceX. They have over 1,200 satellites up there, for Wi-Fi, but they're scalable. When Musk put them up, he made them scalable, and they're they can link to the U.S. military if necessary.
Yeah, well, like you said, Trump was ahead of his time. I laughed at him too, and then I'm going, well, guess he wasn't ahead of his time, was he?
Yeah. Not much, huh?
No.
Not much.
Well, everybody needs to think about that. Thank you very much.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening. Yeah. Yeah, well, a lot going on, Shane, this week and this month and everything. So we're going to talk about all of it. But let's see, from let's get a few texts we've got in here. Let's see. Presidents are not above the law. They can't commit crimes with impunity. That's absurd. We should ignore the conviction of Trump's sexual assault because of time. No. Why didn't she bring it 30 years ago is the question. Well, why didn't she bring it up when it happened? It's looking a little more like Trump will be in prison before the election. Maybe it's time to cut bait and support Haley. Well, there you are, Shane. Get on the Haley bandwagon. Here we go.
Well, it's no different than the Democratic side.
Mm-hmm.
Biden will not be the nominee. No matter how far he goes, even to the convention, I did not.
All right, we got to talk about that. Maybe we need a contest, Shane. When he'll drop out, we'll give away some kind of prize to somebody.
That's right.
Right. All right, that's the bottom of the hour. We've got to get out of here, pay some bills, and we'll be right back, though, with more Tom and Shane on Saturday. Hey, if you want to be a part of the big broadcast, you can text us at 406-478-8298. You can call us, 406-522-TALK, 522-8255. We'll be right back after a short interlude for news and other stuff. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. Welcome back, everyone. It's Saturday. It's February 17th, 2024, 8 below when I drove in this morning. Tommy Gallup, your morning mayor in the house. Shaman Taubman, he's half man and half amazing. He's in Kamloops, Canada. And it's quite a...
We have 12 more days to February because it's a leap year. It's a leap year month.
I know. I've said many times, if you're going to add a day to a month, why not add it to June or August or somewhere in there, one of those 30-day summer
why
months?
winter? Why in the middle of winter?
Why in the middle of winter? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. We all know February is nothing more than an entire month of Monday mornings. That's February. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to even have February. I don't know why we even have it. So it's disgusting. Let's see. Nobody's saying Russia is close to satellite war. That is a 2-year-old story that just came out lately. Space Force is a joke. That's always a function of the Air Force. He just grew government for duplicating what already existed. So
And that's not really true. Space Force has already created some remarkable hardware. They have beam weapons, light beam weapons, laser beam weapons, sound beam weapons. So there's an entire group of weapons that they're developing separately, and SpaceX is going to help them launch them into space. And they just launched a rocket for the moon. They're going, you're back on your way to the moon before the end of the month.
yeah, they're going to the South Pole on the moon, I think, something like that. So,
yeah, look at the water, baby.
yeah. For our text line, 406-478-8298. It looks like Shane's Comer case just imploded. So, yeah.
Well, I think he's making reference to the 12-year informant for the FBI. I think the FBI is imploding because they came out with this, which is incredible after all the time that they probably had this information, that the FBI. But they did that because of Bob Lensky's testimony this week. I mean, you know, that if you know, it wasn't a nail; it was a stud in the coffin of the Biden bin fire. He turned over the FBI. I think he said 3 or 4 phones with all kinds of messaging, texting, phone calls. You know, they can check his location by his phone of, you know, how many times he was with or near, you know, the Biden family, because they all carry phones. So this is going to become a wholesale slaughter of the FBI in particular because of that. And then, of course, there's the missing binder that the CIA admitted this week they've misplaced. So, yeah, you have all kinds of issues that are slowly coming to light, but always seems to come. It's like that Friday afternoon political announcement everyone wants to make because it's so bad, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things about this ex-FBI guy, well, there's two things. One is if you're a conspiracy theorist, you could say this is the Justice Department sending a message: no more whistleblowing. You know, or you're gonna get a fine. You're gonna end up in jail or whatever's going to happen to this guy. You know, is it easy to find a lie, a misspoke, a wrong date? You know, misheard conversation, and call it a lie, and which is a federal crime to lie to a FBI agent. So, is that one of the?
Apparently not. Hillary did. Apparently not. Hillary did.
Hillary wasn't an FBI agent.
No, she lied to one.
Well, whether or not she did or didn't, you know, there's no charge. So if there's no charge, there's no lie.
Well, he chose not to charge her.
Yeah. From Right On John, from our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, judges are not above the law. Trump was never convicted of anything. A civil court found him liable for slander and fraud, and both are being appealed in state court. So there you go. Let's see. All the Marxist Democrats. We got to talk about them, I guess. Don't you think, Shane? Marxist Democrats.
Yeah.
They think Donald.
Well, they just replaced the word Marxist with woke.
Yeah. All the Marxist Democrats that think President Trump will be going to prison are correct. He will be going there to visit members of the Biden crime family syndicate. There you go. That's a good one. Yeah, he'll be going to prison to visit. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to take Jill along too. It's fun. It's fun to hear Trump supporters parrot his lies. The act of greed is referring to money over safety. I'm glad Trump got rid of those pesky railroad regulations on chemical cars. Yeah, they were just on chemical cars, and Trump can just do away with regulations whenever he wants. So there you are. Did Biden put them back in? I guess that would be my question.
No. What Trump did was because of several accidents because of chemicals, the regulators ordered the railroad companies to double line the cars, you know, to make them stronger. And of course, the billions and billions and billions involved in having to do that would have bankrupted them all. It's not that they wouldn't have done it or didn't want to, but they were doing it on an replace unit basis. But the regulators wanted it done all at once.
Yeah,
like you can't have single frames, so to speak. It's similar to the liquid natural gas that people ship. It's always been a big concern of the danger because if one of those ships explodes, it could take out an entire harbor and a city. So a lot of them are offloaded offshore. They build pipeline out to a rocky area they've built up on, and they pull up there and not near a city, but they're double hulled, and then they put those big bubbles on top, so the natural gas is above and not below inside the ship, in case it's rammed or something. So yeah, it's everybody's trying to do the best they can.
Yeah. There you go. From our app chat line, or our text line, 406-478-8298. Sorry, Tom, Chiefs won despite your prediction. Yeah, they did. I didn't think they had a shot there, but boy, one blocked extra point. Just goes to show you.
Well, defenses win championships, and Kansas City had the better defense.
Well, they did, and they did on that Sunday. That's for sure. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, and because we've watched the 49ers score anywhere from 20 to 50 points every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they only scored one touchdown. The rest were field goals.
Yeah. There's a reason the FBI didn't believe that so-called informant. Only Doofus Comer lifted him into his so-called investigation, or listed him into his so-called investigation. Well, I talked last week about Comer. Comer really needs to put up or shut up. I mean, this thing's been going on way too long. He's supposed to have all these checks. He's supposed to have all these bank records. He's supposed to have all this crap. And so far, nothing. This is Adam Schiff all over again, Shane, on the Republican side. Put up or shut up.
I disagree with you. I think it's an ongoing effort to keep this, in the news cycle, and to just keep, adding more to the Biden dumpster fire, and because a lot of people are finally getting to people about what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But it's taken months for the left media to start questioning certain things too, and they have. They actually have. So, admitting to it being a Hunter's computer, that alone puts Hunter and his father, in dire straits. Certainly, look, if they're going to continue with this action of against Trump, with regards to January 6th, right, that the president doesn't have immunity, boy, don't be careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah.
Because Biden could find himself going to prison at 85. It is.
Maybe. I doubt it, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, the Mueller case went nowhere. The Durham case went nowhere. I'm just getting a little jaded that these guys.
Well, that's not true. In both those cases, they still tried to impeach Trump, but neither of those investigations resulted in any convincing information, or as they say, smoking gun, which resulted in him not being, voted out. So it is relatively important. Both of those were important documents.
Well, we'll find out.
For Trump.
Yeah, sooner or later, I guess.
Yeah.
Libs are crying about a Russian who died in custody. Where's the outrage over Epstein's death? Well, I asked them. They checked the paper sheets for the Russian guy, but
yeah.
Let's not forget Haley said Trump is guilty. Well, the case closed then, I guess. Just what we need. A candidate doesn't believe in innocence before a court trial finds someone guilty if he can. So, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, all this. Well,
I think I could be wrong, but I think to a lot of people, Haley is becoming an annoyance. She's sort of the Republican version of your vice president.
Yeah,
and it's not that she hasn't been successful; she has. But for her to be trying to upstage people that have been far more successful than hers, that's a tough one. You can make that argument as a woman, but it's just that she hasn't come up with anything new to say, right?
No. Well, there's not much new to say. I think it's all been said.
Yeah, that's right.
From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, I'm still waiting for someone to explain what crime the Biden family has committed and define the members of the family. Yeah, me too. I'm kind of waiting for that myself, and I haven't seen it. I've seen a lot of accusations. I've seen a lot of finger pointing,
stop.
But no.
Wait, you're not. There doesn't have to be a crime here for your president to be compromised. Clearly compromised with Ukraine. Clearly compromised with Russia. Clearly compromised with China. All those countries have provided millions, and in the case of China, billions to the Biden family. Now, if you don't think that means he's been compromised, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to argue otherwise.
All hearsay.
No, that's not true. China's provided the bank accounts to.
Where are they? Where's Comer, Sean? Where's he holding up the bank accounts on TV?
And it's a known fact that Bob Alinsky in his hearing last week talked about the phone call that he was sitting there when Hunter and his father called China and said, "You haven't performed." And the next day, boom, $5 million came to Hunter's account from China. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's example of that across the board. Again, this is an investigation. It's not an impeachment. So it will come in fist and drabs. They're playing the political Democratic card. Nothing wrong with that. You say it's like Russia. Well, in some ways it is. But in this case, it seems, based upon even China's announcements and Russia's announcements and Ukraine's announcements, that it's true. And they haven't even gotten to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and Hungary and other countries. So, yeah, it's a continuing story.
Yeah. For our check
and let's not wait. There's one thing I want to bring up. Look, you remember what threw Nixon out? Nixon lost because of John Dean admitting there were tapes.
Yeah.
And in the hearing he said that there's a cancer in the presidency, and Nixon held out until what? He had to give up the tapes. And so you got the same thing going to happen here with Biden and his interview with her, and they're on tape and perhaps even video, and he'll have to cough up or allow those to be released. Now, hers going before congressional committees in a week or so, and he may bring all of that, and he may enter it into evidence. So we'll see what happens there. But if the interviews that he had over 2 days, I think that it was a total of 5 hours or 2 days of 5 hours each, on the 11th and 12th of October, the 2 days after the invasion of Israel, where are the Biden tapes? People should be talking about the Biden tapes.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Where are they?
Yeah, that's right. Where are they?
Where are they? For our text line, 478-8298, New York State permitted a 1-year extension to file claims related to sexual crimes. Now, he's not any specific age group. Why didn't she fight right away? Ask your wife, sister, mother, daughter, niece, aunt, or female friend why they never went to law enforcement to report being sexually assaulted. You're familiar with how many untested rape kits are gathering dust in police departments, and you never had a sane nurse or other medical provider swab your mouth, whatever, and after your sexual assault. Patriotic ex-prosecutor, educator, DJ, and supporter of survival of sexual crimes, signed Jay. So thanks, Jay, for putting that out.
That's right. And that's a viable, text, because the point that's being made, which is a good one, is there has to have been other, like his comment about the rape kits. There have to be hundreds, if not thousands, of rapes that have taken place in the state of New York, where women haven't, sued or pursued some kind of relief.
Yeah,
that's a sad reality, but it's just it's one of those situations where I think the state holds a responsibility to help women in that case and help represent them, because the cost for their own claim and legal counsel is too much. So, I would suggest that's something that should be done.
Yeah. From our text line, education time, Shane. Remind me who was president.
You're going to educate me?
No, we have to educate the texter.
Oh, okay.
Remind me who was president in control of the federal prison system when Epstein died. Epstein didn't die in a federal prison.
That's right.
He died
in a state cell or state prison,
state facility in New York City.
That's right.
So
one of the most notorious ones, and remember, this was important. We brought this up. I hate to say this, but we brought this up before. The United States is criticized for having the most prisoners in prison. There's over 6.8 million people in prison in the U.S. But, 4.6 million of those are in state prisons across your country.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And the rest are in federal prison. So, you've got federal, state, county, local, prisons or lockups that people are being held in.
That we do. All right, let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Call your own with Tom and Shane. What's up?
This is Clint, some young fella. I feel young today because the sky's blue.
All right.
You like it, Tom? You like that blue sky when you drove in?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yes. It was 8 below, but the sun was shining, so it was all right.
I was 8 below out here at my house, too. Well, Shane, how cold is it up there in Canada?
4 below, blue sky, and 2 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah, how cold is it?
4 below.
4 below?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's cold enough for anybody.
Fahrenheit.
Well, what I called about this morning is 2 things. The number one thing is, I don't think there's a judge in the United States should have the power that judge has in New York. One man? I don't think so. There's something wrong with our Constitution there. I know it's going to go on.
I agree with you. I don't see how a state court or even a state can shut down someone's business or tell them, that they have a multi-billion-dollar business in their state. You can't run it. You're going to be fined for,
Well, the Fourth Amendment,
we're going to pick a number out of the sky of 360 million. Yeah, no one's going to open a business in New York. It's just not going to happen. I mean, even if you own a corner store, you'll register it in New Jersey.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a little history about Trump's family. They originally started in Alaska, in the Yukon, his great-grandfather. And they didn't have much money, but they had enough to get into business up there. They got into the bars and brothels and hardwares, and that's where the fortune started, was in the Yukon. Then it was passed on down to the grandfather and the father, and Trump's dad built a big business in New York City and employed a horrendous amount of people, blacks, whites, everybody. Then you have Trump that's come in and used his name and his father's name and grandfather and built this empire all over the world. Now, is it that the people are jealous of him for what he done? I think that's probably part of it. And another thing is, Donald Trump donated all his wages to various different charities. He never took a dime as president. Now, you got to ask yourself why everybody wants to crucify him, to destroy this man. When we had the best economy going, as you know, Tom and Shane, when he was in the presidency. And he got rid of a lot of the crime. And I hate to say this, but I do think that parts of our government that are running this country, it isn't the president. Biden's doing a hell of a poor job. It's corrupt as hell. And it starts right at the CIA. I think Robert Kennedy said it all. He said he could prove that the CIA killed his uncle, Jack, John, God. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is, so what are we looking at? What kind of a government are we looking at here now? And another thing that really bugs the hell out of me.
Yeah.
We got a space station. I'm going all over the thing here. We got a space station up there in the atmosphere in the universe, which was put up there by Russia and China, not China, but Russia and the United States. Okay? When our astronauts go up to that space station, they go on a Russian rocket, right?
Well, sometimes. Not always, but...
Well, most of the times they do.
No.
And then they
for the last 10 years. You're right, for the last 10 years. Yes.
10 seconds, guys.
Put up an atomic bomb up there in the space station. Whether they do or not, it doesn't
Gotta
matter
go.
to me or anybody else. What'll happen, it'll destroy the whole damn universe.
Gotta go. Welcome back, everyone. It's 27 minutes after the hour of 9 a.m. It's Saturday. It's February 17th, 2024. Tommy Golife, your morning mayor of the house. Shane Tom, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. The Bozeman Police Department is asking the public for help in locating 36-year-old Catherine Marie Ralston. Police said on social media that Ralston was last seen in Belgrade at the Super 8 Motel on Saturday, February 10th. 2024. She's described as Caucasian with brown hair, brown eyes, 5 feet 6 inches tall, 120 pounds. And police say Ralston is transient and has been living between Belgrade and Bozeman. She is known to be accompanied by her dog, Gomez. So there you go. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Bozeman Police Department at 582-2028. 582-2028 if you have any information on this missing lady. So there we go, Shane.
There we go. We got a caller.
We do have a caller. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi, Tom and Shane. It's Joe.
Hey, Joe.
I have some thoughts and questions. First, I want to ask Shane if he sees the Charles Schwab outfit as a good, secure place for my money.
I didn't hear you. What? Where?
Well, if you see that the Charles Schwab group...
Charles Schwab.
Charles
Charles Schwab's a brokerage firm where you open your account, but it's a very well-run brokerage firm. It's always followed the guidance that the SEC has set up, and it's always passed its reviews. So I have no reason to doubt that it's a place to, perhaps have a trading account with.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have a margin account with them because then they get access to your account. So that's I always warn people about that.
Yeah, I use Fidelity myself, but I have no problem with Schwab. I haven't researched any negative about them, Joel. So I think you'd be okay there.
What my thought is I don't see how this stock market can keep going, and it seems like it's on a bubble, and even the dollar is I don't. It just looks to me like somewhere's along the line, this all got to fall apart. And
Well, they've been saying that.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, they've been saying that since 1929, and the market has gone up consistently ever since then. We're at record levels now, not due to any president or anything any president did, but
Yeah, but but since '72, there's been 5 times where it's collapsed. So
that's
it's not
true.
a bad place to invest, but you know, there's times where you get like what was it 2 years ago? Didn't you sell your Apple and then you bought it back?
Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
what was it? Yeah, you sold your Apple, made money, and then it went down, and you bought it back.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and doing quite well. Thank you very much. My Facebook too went up to $400 or above, $75 in one day. That was pretty advantageous. So yeah, it's well, see
Sell half of it and get your money back.
yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah.
well, just another thought. That Tom, you went to Vietnam and you had a rifle.
Yeah.
That microphone in your hand is far more powerful. and I hope.
And it goes
hope
off
you
without
understand
warning.
Say again.
It goes off without warning.
Well, it's but the point. You know the point I'm making.
Yes, I do, and I appreciate that very much. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you for your service, Thomas. Welcome home.
Amen.
All right, that's enough for today. Thanks.
Okay, Joel. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right. Well, let's see. A couple things came up earlier about Jeffrey Epstein, so I had to go to perplexity.ai. Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City. So there you are.
On an island.
Yeah. From our text line 478-8298, like I would believe a Canadian. There you go, Shane.
Fair enough.
Oh,
All I ask you to do is to consider what I have to say.
that's it. Hey.
Oh, by the way, in
Yeah.
response to that,
Mhm.
did I call it last week or what? What did I say? Core inflation was last week? 3.1.
Yeah.
And what did they come out with? 3.1.
Yep. There we go. And gas prices up about 15 cents in the last couple of weeks. So there you go. If we don't
So your
care,
double digits, 15 to 20% inflation, depending on where you live in the U.S.
yeah, depending on what you're buying too. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. If we don't care that the Bidens receive millions from China and others, maybe we should care that Joe Biden open borders agenda has resulted in millions, if not billions, into the Mexican cartel's bank accounts and resulted in untold deaths of Americans from crime committed by illegals and 100,000 fentanyl deaths. Definitely impeachable offense. Article 4, Section 4, the federal government shall protect each state from invasion. There you go.
Yeah, and the problem you have with the money going to these cartels is twofold. One, they're creating this opportunity to invade your country with these people, and Mexico's become a failed state. So this is like Iran. I mean, this is how serious this is. I mean, right now, Mexico is more of a issue for your country than Iran, and you know they've got a nuclear weapon. They haven't announced it, but we all know they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. From our text line 478-8298, I hate to tell Clint, but the Trump family immigrated from Germany and started a bunch of slum apartment buildings in Queens. That's how they made the money. Au contraire, according to Perplexity.ai, yes, the Trump family made money in Alaska. Donald Trump's grandfather, Frederick Trump, joined the Klondike Gold Rush and operated a series of restaurants and hotels in the Yukon, which proved to be very profitable. He opened the Arctic Restaurant and Hotel in 2 locations, first in Bennett Lake and northern British Columbia, and then he moved it to Whitehorse, Yukon. The venture allowed him to amass a substantial net egg, which ultimately supported the family fortune. So Clint is absolutely correct. So there.
Well, and the reality is, this most families, they lose the inheritance within 3 generations, and by the 4th generation with Trump and the $12 million his father gave him, he built a global empire. It's a remarkable accomplishment.
Yeah, just because you get money doesn't mean you can keep it.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and we've seen some remarkable. I mean, I saw the guy this week. I had an interview on BBC. That started at FedEx, and it's an incredible story because when he was in college, he wrote his thesis about building a company that would be able to deliver packaging around the world, and basically the business plan for FedEx, and his professor failed him.
Yeah,
he failed. He denied his thesis. So and you go to Home Depot and you look at that, and Costco, and even Amazon. I mean, there's just, and then of course all the computer companies. It's just a remarkable thing. Did you see the 5 major computer companies signed a deal this week about AI and their restrictive policy of it and use? That was good to see that they're self-regulating, because this is going to get nasty.
Yeah. Well, it will. And experts have confessed, Shane, they have no idea how AI comes up with its decisions or its whatever's answers or whatever it has. So, see, when I stop, you start.
Yeah, I realize that. But we it all started with IBM's computer and Watson, and it's evolved from there. And when you look at the 15-year history of Watson to where you are today, that means within 5 years or less, the capability of AI is going to advance significantly. And it's a difficult thing. What do you think about these stories now about the virtual glasses that Apple's selling for $3,500? What's your call on that?
Well, I think it's Alexander Graham Bell right now to what it will be in the future. It's right now it's kind of a expensive toy, but it will certainly. I see it as kids in school strapping the things on and seeing, rather than reading about geography as to where it is, go see it. Go see the pyramids, go see the Eiffel Tower or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, they do that now with video on. Well, yeah. They watch videos.
Well, they do, but it's not. It isn't the same when you're actually virtually there. Even though you're not. But
well, I just find it interesting. Within 2 or 3 weeks, people have already started to return them because of the negative response. They've got headaches and loss of sleep and interfering with the thought transitioning. So it's interesting that right off the bat, the first one on the block, so to speak, it's not getting great reviews.
Yeah. Oh, I suppose you.
And I don't understand how. I don't understand how someone wears them walking down the street in New York or LA. I mean that's more than a scooter costs.
Well, I don't understand it either, but I suppose you're too old to remember. Don't sit so close to the TV; it'll ruin your eyesight. So.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. I still sat close to watch my cartoons on Saturday morning.
Well, that was it. Yeah, we sat right up there as close as we could get because we didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, Shane.
Yeah,
What?
Go ahead.
I was going to
Well, I
say.
was just going to say, it expanded my vocabulary very quickly watching cartoons on Saturday morning. It really did.
Oh, yeah? Well, all right. Well, Shane, in other news, the city manager of Bozeman offers to resign, but the severance issue stalls the process. He wants his severance pay and some extra dough. So, the Bozeman City Commission said Thursday they're not inclined to accept an offer of resignation from the city manager, Jeff Milich, over a severance issue after a video showing him complaining about Mayor Terry Cunningham, among other things, in a private meeting with a city employee was leaked. City commissioners met Monday and approved a motion requesting his resignation. And according
All I have to say about that is they need your city needs to change law firms because they weren't adequately covered in the agreement that the lawyers for the city drafted to employ them.
Well, we don't have
all of these.
The city doesn't have a law firm; they have a city attorney. So
doesn't matter whether it's the city attorney. He would have referred to some expertise on this as well, to make sure that the guidance within the agreement covered this. So for it not to be there is a failure then on his part, and he should resign.
Yeah. Well, according to a statement from the commission, he's offered to resign, but under the condition he be provided his full severance, which would be a year's salary plus 18% of that deposited into a retirement fund. So at this time, the city commission is not inclined to accept a resignation with full severance. However, if they fire him, the severance would take effect. So,
well, it sounds like you took that job in Dallas.
It was in Austin, but
Austin, Texas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
well,
I city. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking once they offered him that job, they started monitoring what was going on in Bozeman. So he may not still be in the running for that job. So that may be why he wants his pension or his a golden parachute package. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. They're going to put him in front of an ethics committee, I guess, or make an ethics complaint, and consider then if the ethics come back, he violated the ethics of his contract, then they could remove him. So I don't know. It's an ongoing mess.
These issues we talked about. I just find it hard to believe in a state of Montana with such excellent universities, and there's got to be talent in Montana that are metropolises or cities. Bozeman's a regional city. You're over 100,000, right?
Yeah.
If you include the valley. So why wouldn't you find someone in Montana and hire them to do this? I just find it hard to parachute someone in from somewhere else that doesn't know the city or the state.
Well, it's true, but we don't have the population and the number of cities to, I guess. Well, I think they've got to put it out for bid everywhere. Otherwise they'd be violating hiring laws, labor laws. So if people in Montana want to apply, they can.
That's what I was saying. I would think that people, when they put this out for people to apply, that people in Montana applied. And I have an issue with people that we've now discovered in the last 20 years or less that have gone to school for this type of work, a degree and then a master's degree. And to apply for this type of job because that would be a requirement. They end up being incompetent because they really don't know what they're doing in a lot of cases.
Well, that's true, but Well, I don't know. It's we've always had kind of a checkered thing.
Yeah, check. Yeah.
Well, we've had various city managers that have have been under discussion before, I should say.
That's it. Yeah, it's been an ongoing problem for your city, right?
Yeah.
It really has.
Let's see, from our text line, 478-8298. Correction, Trump was offered a jury trial. His incompetent lawyer chose not to. Well, according to Perplexity AI, yes, the judge in Donald Trump's New York fraud case did not hold a jury trial. The civil fraud case was decided by Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Engoron without a jury. The judge's decision to not hold a jury trial was part of the legal process, and the case was decided based on the evidence presented during the trial. The judge's decision to not hold a jury trial. So if you're going to text, get it right.
That's right. It's similar to, not the same, but similar to this Fani Willis issue in Georgia, where a judge is listening to whether or not she should be disqualified, and her associate she had an affair with, and it's a low bar because all he has to do is find impropriety in what they've done. So that's a real low bar. But again, the other thing that's interesting about the Trump case, this one we've mentioned, in New York State particularly, there are a number of different types of trial-based areas to hold trials. There's criminal, there's civil, there's family law, there's business law, and this should have been held in the business court that exists, as a separate court or branch of the court in New York, which will be part of their appeal. The Attorney General brought this to this court purposely, and it's one of those interesting aspects of the law that create appeals.
Yeah. Okay. You need to issue a correction. Epstein was being held in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, operated by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and Perplexity AI confirms that it is a federal prison. So we stand corrected on that issue. So,
yeah, I got to go look that up. I'm sure. I mean, if he looked it up, but I thought he was in Ellis Island, but
no. Did someone have evidence that Joe Biden received a penny from China? Amazing what people believe out of rumors and liars. Yeah, no evidence so far that has been presented. Credible evidence, anyway, has been presented that Joe Biden got anything from China.
Well, that's not exactly true. The money that came from everywhere went into these companies that his son set up. And the fellow that ran those, or basically the accountant, bookkeeper, whatever you want to call it, he's already testified that he wrote checks to pay for Biden costs, like his, for the cost for his home and his, like electrical bill and different types of bills. So it may have flowed to Biden,
well,
but he ended up. He ended up with a benefit, Tom.
Well, we need a paper trail somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't see one so far. So you got to bring it out. You got to, if you got evidence, put it out there for the public, put it out there for the press. Hasn't been done. He stood up there and said, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this.
You know the guideline
10 seconds.
Of law in your country, that while it's under investigation, they can't release anything, Tom. You know that.
All right. We'll be back right after this. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Saturday. It's February 17th, 2024. And I'm tired, Shane.
Good. I like that.
This winter is making me tired, man. I'm tired out.
Well, it's been a long one, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been. Yeah,
No, I mean, in the context of temperatures, and, I mean, this is pretty significant. It's been pretty cold.
Well, from our text line, the Democrats are laughing at you as you support Trump and diss Nikki Haley, just waiting until the televised Georgia trial is as big as the OJ trial. Trump will go down in flames, and Biden will walk away, and the Dems will be laughing at you. The caller is right. Your microphone is more powerful than any rifle. Use it wisely. All right.
Well, the case that in Georgia's gone. I mean,
that's done.
That's done. So the two cases, the lawsuit and the state case against him in New York, those are they're going to be appealed, and certainly the state case is going to be thrown out. There's no way a state has the power to do that to business or industry. And for a number, even if it has to go to the Supreme Court will never agree to any of what the state of New York did. And the Florida or the Washington case on January 6th has been delayed indefinitely. So I mean, and that'll go away because there's no way the Democrats want to end up with another Russia. Because the minute Trump's people start subpoenaing and meeting with and drawing affidavits from people that were involved in the election and the Democrats, the hearing, it's the whole thing. It's just going to collapse. So their effort to do what they couldn't do politically, to do legally. Oh, and the Colorado case is gone. I mean, there's just no way the Supreme Court is going to allow a state to have that power.
Well, you'd be right. Yeah. So, well, in other news, we got.
And the hashtag. I just want. By the way, hashtag on the Colorado case. If that comes in 9-0, like if there's not even a dissenting vote on that case, the Supreme Court's deciding on, all these cases disappear. If it comes in 9-0, they all disappear because they are interfering with an election. All these cases.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Civil rights attorney Leo Terrell said Thursday witness testimony may have provided the key evidence to disqualify attorney Fani Willis and prosecutor Nathan Wade from Trump's trial in Fulton, Georgia. And I guess without them, that's going to fall apart. So who's going to bring the charge? If not...
the problem that the Democrats have in that case is twofold. Number one, the governor is a Republican. Best case scenario, they are removed from the trial, and it continues with another attorney general or assistant attorney general of the state in the same county, or it's moved to another county because of this.
Yeah.
And any other county in Georgia, he will get a fair trial, and it'll be gone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, even if it is, there's no jail time. I doubt with that he'll get hit with a fine. I don't think he'll get hit with jail time for making a phone call, but I don't know. I guess.
Well, he got impeached for making a phone call.
Well, that's true. But I think, like in the New York case, I think he'll end up paying some bucks and it'll be done. So I don't know. Well, the residents of Belgrade Trailer Court may soon become owners of their mobile home park after the HRDC, the Human Resources Development Council, purchased the property last week. They paid $1.5 million for it. And they'll remain the owner while residents decide whether to purchase the property on their own. So either way, The news provides newfound stability and peace of mind for the residents of that trailer park, because it was kind of in limbo there as to what they were going to do with it. I know the owner over there wanted to make some improvements and whatever, and the cost of everything meeting the city requirements was prohibitive. That's why we can't have trailer parks, because of the impact fees. You got to have sidewalks, you got to have lighting, you got to have sewer and water and all that stuff.
Water.
Yeah. So in my little park, we have electricity and sewer and water, and that's it. We don't have sidewalks. We don't have 24-foot wide streets. So.
Nope, gravel roads, right?
Well, we're not gravel. It's blacktop, but.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's blacktop.
So do you have a golf cart to wheel around in?
No, I'm not that old yet. But I'm on the verge. I'm on the verge of getting having a golf cart. So.
You can buy online. This is great. A fold-up scooter, the size of a large suitcase with wheel. For $1,500.
There you go.
You can fold it up and bring it into your house and plug it in, and 1,500 pounds. It'll hold 1,500 pounds. That's pretty cool.
There you go. Yeah. Let's see. Who cares where Epstein was incarcerated? He was incarcerated. End of story.
Yeah.
So I'll go along with that. That is pretty well done. Love listening to your show on Saturday morning. How about a brief history of how you guys met and become friends? Well, boy, that's a long story, Shane.
No, it's not. It's a short one.
Well,
Tom had my sister Tammy.
Yeah.
Tom had my sister Tammy on as a guest, and she recommended me to have Tom on as a guest, so he did. And he continued having me on, and we got along so good that 2011, right? I started on it.
Yeah, I started here in 2004, and I heard you on with Tammy when they had the open range shows from 4 to 6 every day, and I heard Shane on. And so I had him on as a guest on my Saturday show from time to time. And then I thought, well, why not make him a co-host? As long as we can communicate. Then we did it by phone, of course. But yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Forever.
Yeah.
Best friends forever, even though we tear a Band-Aid off each other once in a while.
Well, that's true, yeah. Well, it's no fun to agree all the time. I mean, that's not good radio.
Right. It's easy to disagree with you because you're my friend.
Well, it is, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to beat you up. I'm not going to call you names or be mean to you.
And the mean test for having a friend is that they're happy for you. So
that's
I'm
true.
happy for you. You're happy for me.
Amen.
So we're happy for all the listeners.
That's true. Well, and of course, as many people know, we're not being paid to be here. So this is a labor of love. We believe that this area deserves local talk radio, and so that people can hear the perspective of the local people and what they want to talk about. And so we're happy to be here and donate our time. We could certainly be doing a lot of other fun things than sitting here with you, but we really enjoy doing it, and we hope that it spurs some conversation between the listeners, and they talk about it a little bit and go here and there and whatever. So it's it's a labor of love here. So we're happy to be here for you.
Yeah, before the morning show went over to Billings, 2-3 times we stood in for the station. What was it, 6 to 9, right?
6 to 10.
7 to 6 to 10.
Yeah, 6 to 10.
Yeah, 5 to 10 5 o'clock in the morning till 10 for me for free.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of considering us to continue, which seemed to be working out even with the ratings, they decided to move the billing show to Bozeman because they were already paying someone.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't cost them anything to cover to have Aaron over here, and it costs them.
That's right.
Because I'm not getting up at 4:00 in the morning for nothing. So
yeah.
But yeah, thanks to COVID, we got. I guess eventually we probably would have been kicked out, COVID or not, because it was. We did the last hour of Aaron, and nothing against Aaron. Aaron and I are good friends, and we always will be. I think. We filled in for him on occasion, but we feel badly that Bozeman and Livingston and Belgrade and everybody, you should have your own morning show to voice your opinion. And you should, we brought in people from the city commission. We brought in this, county commissioners, various people. If there were news going on, we could bring it in here and people would comment on it and listen to it and everything. And that's sadly gone, except on Saturday. So. Yeah,
and the corporation, they have 28. They have 28 stations, from I think Washington to Michigan or something like that, and a lot of them have morning shows.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, some of them, a lot of stations are going to music because it's easy. You sick.
Or they pick up other people's shows. Yeah. Hannity or
sure.
Someone else.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's where we.
That's the story.
There you
go.
I told you. See, I told you it'd be a long story.
That's okay. It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Matt Rosendale has decided to drop out of the Senate. He
listened to you and me.
It must be it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he claims that since Trump endorsed his opponent, Tim Sheehy, that he feels he won't get the backing he needs. Hopefully he would. He was hoping Trump would go with him, but apparently not. So Tim and Tester, I guess, are the two main people that will be going with it against each other. Although, as we mentioned earlier, the No Labels camp has been approved. They got enough signature to get on the ballot. So there will probably be some No Label candidates also running for the Senate against Tester and Sheehy. So we'll see where that.
Yeah, but if that's true, they'll take votes away from Tester, not Tim.
Well, that may be. Yeah, I don't know.
That's my call. Yeah. I mean, this guy's red, white, and blue. I mean, military background, business background.
Yeah.
Lives in the state. He's quite an accomplished individual.
Well, they are promoting quite a lot of negative ads toward him, and that's always suspect when you have that many negatives coming in about someone. It sort of makes you look at them a little closer. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon for either Tester or Sheehy at the moment. Still too early to tell till we get some primaries and stuff out of the way as to see. What the feeling is, but anyway, that's where we are.
Well, I'd like to think this cycle is going to end the negative advertising. I really do. I think people are just a bit tired of the robocalls and the negative ads, and the massive amount of money spent, with constant television. I mean, it's like the pillow guy on Fox, right?
Yeah.
But the great thing about, the rotation of elections in your country every 2 years is it's big money for the media. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, Governor Gianforte held a roundtable meeting on housing Friday. I sent in my opinion that private business need to work together and invest in local community and build housing for the low-wage earner. Real estate building contractors, managers, and the city need to work in unison to get low-wage earners a place to live. And that's always been the case, I think, of everywhere. That some people, for whatever reason, they're stationed in life. We see the trailers all over Bozeman. They're racked up there. So that's tough. Shane has completely glossed over the Georgia case, which is already obtained 5 guilty pleas. It will be televised, and people will watch it like OJ. And Trump will go down in flames. Aren't you glad you supported Trump instead of Nikki? So there you go.
Won't be a trial.
Carpetbagger radical Matt Rosendale pulled out. Shame. I was hoping to see Sheehy cream him and send him back to Maryland. Well, I don't know if he'll go back to Maryland or not, but who knows? He just might. Face it, Americans are stupid and lazy. They will read they will not read the Jack Smith indictment. But just wait until the Georgia trial brings to light all the dirty deeds the Trump did to steal the election. He will go down in flames. You've been warned. You chose poorly. And, okay. I haven't chosen anybody yet. So, I don't know where. I know.
That's good.
I don't know. I don't know what you have to. What do you have to do to convince people that. What? Look, these things are going to play out. We've already had the Trump trial with the, he's hit with $354 million, and what he can't do business in New York for 3 years, Shane, I think it was, or something like that. There's some
that's
yeah. So that's slap on the wrist. I mean, essentially. So I don't know. It's it's pretty whatever. So anyway, in other news, we've got to talk about the Mexican drug cartels. They are here. They are bringing stuff up to Bozeman. Story by NBC News. Media. A gentleman by the name of Media made the trip a handful of times up here. Before he reached Butte, though, he was pulled over by state and federal officers, and they found 2 pounds of methamphetamine, enough authorities say to supply the entire town of Townsend, Montana, 2,100 population, for multiple days, and also fentanyl as well. So a lot of 700,000 fentanyl-laced pills into Montana. From Mexico, so, yeah. So, yeah. Why Montana, people ask. It's one of the lead investors of the case said it boiled down to money. He could make so much more profit from drugs he sold here than in any other place. Illegal drugs have long flowed from Mexico to the more remote parts of the U.S., but with the rise in fentanyl, cartel associates have pushed more aggressively into Montana, where pills can be sold for 20 times the price they get in urban centers closer to the border, state and federal officials have said. So we're overpaying for our drugs. So please stop overpaying. At least ask for a discount. You need at least a discount. Oh, I don't know. It's sad.
It is.
Yeah.
It is because, it falls under the definition of a war. I mean, it's an invasion.
Yeah. Tom, you and Shane are clearly lifting Trump every single week. Your top 10 things you did for weeks. Come on, it's obvious you are a Trump only. All right. Well, let me ask you a question then. If I'm a Trump only, text me who you are. Who you for? I assume you're for Nikki. I assume you're for Nikki, who's going to be gone. I mean, she isn't going to win her own. She isn't going to win her home state.
No.
So
no.
So
I mean, if he wins by a margin of 10 or more, she's done.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up 35 points, they claim, but I mean,
well, something like
if
that.
he wins by.
Yeah. From our text line 478-8298. Yes, the cartels are here. Thank you, John Tester. And if Nikki Haley is the one, then why is there such a swell for Trump? If she's so much better, why?
That's right.
Why?
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Why?
That's
exactly right.
Why is she not doing better?
That's right. It's like craziness, isn't it?
Well, when you look at our choices, Shane, I mean,
yeah.
Do we really want Biden again? No. Do we want Harris? No.
Well, that's the sad. We should just talk about that briefly.
Yeah.
That's sort of a sad reality because here's a woman for all intents and purposes. She had the list checked off.
Mm-hmm.
And she became his running mate, and they won the election. Okay, and then she's been in office now for almost 4 years, 3 years and a half.
You talking about Kamala?
And she's turned out Kamala. I'm talking about Kamala. Yeah.
Okay.
And she's turned out to be less popular than your president, and it's sort of a sad reality, isn't it?
Well, it is. And well, let me give you this scenario. What if they bring Michelle out of the closet, so to speak, and put with her as Vice President Barack Hussein Obama?
Well, they couldn't do that because he's already served twice as president. So it
doesn't matter. No, Shane.
And they're both from
he
the
can't
same
run
state,
for president again, but he can certainly be vice president.
Well, okay.
Well, he can.
I'd have to check it out and see, but
why would he prevent it? Why?
No, that sounds like okay.
We've had vice presidents who've been presidents. Why can't it go the other way?
Or you pick Kamala and she picks him.
Well, it's not the same thing. You got to have.
I know, but it's a variation. It's a variation.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna happen. So. But yeah, we'll continue more of this on the other side of the news.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
I think there's a case to be made for this. So we'll talk more about it.
Sounds good to me.
And while we're gone, you can check out can a president who served 8 years be vice president? You can check that out while we're way on break because we got a long one this time. So. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Hey, we still got a full hour to go. We're happy to have you along with us. Thanks so much for joining us and supporting us. We really appreciate you so much out there. So we'll be back with another full hour right after this. Stay tuned. 7 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. Mountain Time. It's Saturday. It's February 17, 2024. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in Bozeman, unanimously elected. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And researching the VP situation, Shane, for those of you who are just joining us, we were talking about could they pull Michelle out of the woodwork and make her vice president Barack Obama because the 22nd and 12th Amendment kind of conflict each other, Shane.
Yes, they do, yeah.
So there has not been a definitive Supreme Court ruling on this specific issue, and opinions vary. Some argue that a two-term president could run for vice president because the 22nd Amendment only explicitly restricts being elected to the presidency more than twice, not serving as president. Others contend that the spirit of the 12th Amendment eligibility clause would implicitly prevent a two-term president from serving as vice president, as it could potentially circumvent the term limit imposed by the 22nd Amendment. But my contention would be he would just be bypassed, and it would go to the Speaker of the House. So,
well, that would be the risk that would be taken, particularly if the Republicans hold if the Republicans happen to hold the House. But you saw what happened in Staten Island. I mean, the Republicans lost that seat. So,
well, yeah,
I don't know what's on the mind of America. I don't know what's on the mind of Americans. Who knows? I mean, everybody thinks they know, but apparently not.
Well, I know. Well, you're talking about what's his name, the disgraced guy being the House member. Can't think of his name right now. Santos or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've got a razor thin margin in the House now. One or two, I think. Scalise came back from his surgery, so they're back at full strength, I guess, on the Republican side. But yeah, the other thing we got to bring up about this upcoming election, Shane, is that 10 Democrats are running for this. 10 Republicans are running for the Senate, 20 Democrats. Now, a lot of the Democrats are in blue states, but still, one of them is here in our somewhat maroon state, I guess we would say.
Yeah.
So
you think it's maroon, really?
Well, it's.
You don't think Montana's a blue state?
Well, I think it is, but it doesn't matter what the state is. What matters is what the major cities are. Missoula is about as blue as you can get. Bozeman just elected a 100% liberal woke city commission as well as a county commission. Billings still remains, I think, Republican, and so does Great Falls. Helena, obviously blue as the sky can be. So it's the votes and where they are. You know, if we had an electoral college like the United States, if our 56 counties, were an electoral college, then I think we'd be pretty red. But that's just me.
Okay.
But anyway, am I wrong on the cities?
On your analysis?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, yeah, because yes, you are, because the state houses run both chambers are controlled by the Republicans, right?
Well, they are, because those people represent various districts around the state, and most of the state is red. But what I'm saying is, if you're gonna if you're voting for a senator, the large metropolitan cities are mostly Democrat.
I got you.
And that's where the votes are going to come from. Yeah, I mean, the overwhelming amount of votes. I mean, that's what we saw with Hillary. I mean, she got tons more votes than Trump did, but she got them in places where she didn't need them. It was already. Those are already Democrat districts anyway. So, yeah, that's how it works.
Well, like I said, I have no idea what after that vote Tuesday night in Staten Island, what Americans are thinking. So.
Yeah. Okay, keep pushing the guy who's going to prison, and we will end up with President Harris. I will blame you Trump pushers when that happens. Okay.
That's so funny. I love it. It's great that you read those.
The man barred. The man barred from doing business in New York wants to run the country like his business. Well, what's the guy currently in power doing? Trump does.
Well,
Yeah. Trump doesn't have $500,000. You know who does? Taylor Swift. Yeah, there you go. I would say Taylor's pretty well set. Yeah. Speaking of that, we had a story that came out, Shane. I don't know if I put it in our list or not. About
yeah, you did.
Did I? About
Kelsey and her.
Yeah. When? How long is it going to be before she dumps him for his ridiculous performance? Well, he didn't do much in the Super Bowl, but being too drunk to talk and being in the parade and whatever. But only the shooting overshadowed that, certainly. But still, I think his reflection was negative toward her. So I think they may be done. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay. We'll find out, I
Yeah.
guess. So. Well, our governor says, Shane, that addressing property tax task force at the group's first formal meeting, Greg Gianforte had two big messages. Figure out how to bring some permanent tax relief to Montana homeowners, and don't do it by recommending a statewide sales tax. So we've voted a sales tax every time it's come along, I think, Shane. It's a double-edged sword. You start out at 4%, and all of a sudden it's 10%. And it affects the poor.
That's what happens. Right?
Yeah, it does. It affects the poor more than any other group. We definitely, if you want to get rid of a tax, either get rid of the personal income tax or get rid of the property tax. One of those two. And, obviously the income tax would be the easiest one to get rid of, but I still, having lived in states that have a sales tax, it just makes everything prohibitive for the business owner, and it's really tough for people who really need things, but.
Well, if it's zeroed in on the debt, the state debt, number one.
Yeah.
And it had a grandfather clause where it ends.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's only around for 2, 3, 4, 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
That might be something to consider, but the government's very scary. The minute they get something like this in their hands, meaning a tax, 99.9% of the time it goes up. It doesn't go down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I say. If government has money, trust me, they will find a way to spend it. No question
That's
there.
Right.
So let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Good morning, boys. Right on, John here.
How you doing?
There he is. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I had to get my 2 cents in because I'm still trying to find a job, and that's about all I got left in my pocket right now. With regards to what you guys were just talking about at the top of or at the beginning of this hour or whatever, you could have it could be totally red. All the Congress, Senate seats, everything like this, but if the town, all the local positions, if they're all blue, you're pretty much sunk right there. And the judges, if they're blue, that kind of deal. Let's see here. Oh, there's that. Other than Skype, there's a whole bunch of other video that, not just Facebook, but there's a few other ones you guys could use. You're fighting with that Skype all the time. I hear it.
Yeah.
No, well, one of the, I wouldn't send any money to Ukraine or Israel or anything like that right now, and I would really have a real deep dive on where all of these monies are going to Venezuela's, to all over the world, the billions or if not more, and just start taking account of that, and maybe we can get a hold of our debt. What I'm wondering is, the GOP, when you get into Congress, for the majority of the time, you need to raise funds for the GOP. There's got to be some way around it. That really turned me off when I heard that last week on Aaron's show. That they spend most of their time raising funds for the GOP. It just puts a bad taste in my mouth on that one.
Well, that's one of the strengths McCarthy had and Pelosi had. They were big fundraisers, which is why they got in the positions that they were.
Yeah, there's just something wrong in Texas on that. We should be bettering our country, not continually raising funds. Sure, raise funds for getting elected, but that should be the end of it right there. They have enough money. But like in that one message this morning there regarding January 6th, if anybody should be impeached, it should be like Pelosi, and those are because she basically didn't allow the National Guards or the police. They shut it all down, and so if she would have allowed those to go on through, they would have had the Capitol protected. You know, it's really kind of crazy that they're going after Trump every which way, shape, and form that they can. They're getting nowhere. And
and you're right. I mean, in that case, excuse me for interrupting you, but in that exact case, you're right, because there's proof positive that he offered the National Guard to protect the Capitol. So,
exactly,
like it or not, whether you like it or not, or that you don't like it, sorry, it doesn't matter. He did, and it's documented, and it's documented well. So, I mean, right there, it's gone.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% well documented. Well,
yeah.
I better get back to my job hunting in town. Everybody wants a darn resume. It takes a long time just to do a resume per place. Oh my God! And I might have to get my GED if I want to go and work for the TSA. But that's a pretty good job there, you know. So, wish me luck.
Good luck, man.
Okay, buddy.
Thanks.
Luck.
Have a great weekend, boys.
All right, you too, John. Thanks. All right, from our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. What about RFK Jr.? He had a Super Bowl commercial and could beat Biden in the polls. I don't know, Shane. He's a speculation out there, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to be going. He seemed to go up in the polls quite a bit right at the beginning, and then he's kind of treading water.
Yeah, I think he's finished. The only comment I would have about the ad that I watched was it reminded me of the Goldwater ad of the nuclear explosion, the little girl pulling the daisy petals off, and then a nuclear explosion going off.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. People are tired of these negative type ads, and let's just hope that we get back to some normalcy.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of the atomic age, I tried to watch Oppenheimer last night, Shane. It's
terrible movie, isn't it?
Yes, I couldn't finish it. I turned it off
No,
after about an
I
hour.
couldn't either.
It was it was bad. So
So the Republicans have gone from 222 seats in the last election to 219.
Yeah,
and the Democrats have gone to 214. So yeah,
it's razor thin.
5-seat difference.
I was gonna say well, you got to have 218 to win anything. So having.
What did you think of them impeaching? Your
Mayorkas?
favorite.
Yeah. Well,
your favorite member of the cabinet.
Yeah, second time around. Well, we both know they're not going to convict him in the Senate. There's no way that's going to happen. So, you're stuck with him until November, and maybe after that, depending on what Biden does or whatever. But I don't know. Should we start a poll, Shane? Should we ask listeners when they think Biden is either going to succumb to gravity or just he and Jill walk off into the sunset together.
I don't know. Well, they do every day when they board, Marine One
Well,
or
that's
Air Force
true.
One.
Yeah, they do that. So, well, yeah, I've got.
I mean,
yeah,
I think it's astounding. I think it's astounding, if I may.
yeah,
Your president has taken off 165 days in his presidency.
yeah. We talked about
going
that.
home Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it takes them a year and a half to go to Ohio, to a city that's just been devastated. I don't understand how these people make these decisions. Seriously, you saw how they received him, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. They weren't too little, too late. Well, come on. He sent Mayor Pete there. Come on. I mean,
but it's Ohio, Thomas.
that's true.
Democrats can't win an election without Ohio.
Well, that's true. They can't, and or haven't, at least in the past, anyway. So
I mean, the only reason that senator from Utah lost to Obama is he didn't take Ohio. Where the first Mormon temple was built, and he was a Mormon.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Well, that's how it goes. So.
Well, the majority leader of the Senate, he was an elder in the Mormon church, and clearly, he bragged. They lied, and they won.
Well, that's how it works.
Well, he had more power than the candidate to tell Mormons not to vote for him.
Yeah.
But that's how politics runs, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said Tuesday. I was so surprised by Tuesday. I mean, it wasn't even close, Thomas. Seriously, it wasn't even close.
Yeah. The House could be held by the other party. Why would you choose a vice president that eliminated the chain of command? Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what are the Democrats are going to
suggesting.
Yeah, the Democrats are going to have to do something between now and November. They're either
hypothetical.
Yeah, they're either going to have to get behind Biden 100%, or I think they need to do something before Super Tuesday, and that's just days away. I mean, that's March 5th.
That's right.
So, I mean, if you're gonna kick him to the curb, you better do it quick, because you still got to print. Right. You got to print ballots with somebody else's name on them.
Well, that's we talked about that 2 weeks ago. That's what's so. I mean, if it comes to the June and July conventions for the parties to pick their nominee, and it's not Trump or Biden, every ballot that they've spent millions, tens of millions of dollars to mail out are canceled.
Yeah. Trump invited Putin to invade our NATO allies. Well, he said, if they don't pay your fair share, why should I defend you? Is what he said. He didn't say he invited Putin to do anything. He just said, if anybody attacks you, why should I come out of the woodwork and help you when I'm paying my share and you're not paying yours?
Well, he also said, I don't care what they do.
Yeah. That's true.
He was asked by, he was asked by a minister, would you, if Russia attacked us and we hadn't paid, would you defend us? And he said, no. And then he said, actually, I wouldn't care what they do if you don't pay. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. This has gone on for 70 years.
I know.
And keep in mind, the Marshall Plan rebuilt Europe. So, America rebuilt Europe. When they rebuilt Europe, everything was new. All the plants were new. All the car plants were new. Steel plants were new. I mean, everything was new. Oh, by the way, Europe didn't have any aluminum plants, and the U.S. built them. So it's just one. I get really upset about it because Europe owes America so much they could never pay them back.
No way.
There's no way.
We're getting to the point now, Shane, where so many people are forgetting the, from 1860 to 1960, what went on, and how this
That's right.
how this world completely changed. Or even into the 60s or 70s, if you want to go there with computers and everything else. But
well, that was 80s to 2000.
yeah.
10. Yeah.
But
I mean, but in 1899, 90% of the workforce in the United States was in agriculture. By 2025 or 1925, it was down to 60. And like you said, by 1960, it was down to less than 40% of the workforce was in agriculture. Today, it's less than 15%.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a huge change in 100 years.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. We still got a full half hour to go. It's Saturday. It's February 17, 2024. Tom and Shane, we're happy to be here for you. If you want to be a part of the big broadcast, 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. You want to text our show, 406-478-8298. Write it down. Live it, learn it, love it. We'll be right back right after this. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. Welcome to the final segment of Tom and Shane on Saturday, February 17th, 2024. Tommy Gallup, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And I don't know, Shane. There's so much going on here. Next week, next Saturday's the South Carolina primary on a Saturday, no less. You
I know.
Gotta love that. So, yeah. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So, well, another thing that's cropping up its ugly head as far as taxes go, the movement to roll back limits on how much state and local taxes Americans can deduct on their federal tax returns took a hit Wednesday when a vote to advance a SALT relief failed in the House of Representatives, but taxpayers have reason to hope that relief is still on the way. That's because the cap on state and local tax deductions passed as part of a 2017 tax code revamp set to expire next year. Proposals for the cap will have a difficult time. Together, the votes to extend it is in its current form, no matter which party controls the White House and Congress next year. So your state and local taxes that are capped by the IRS at certain levels, that may be going away. I don't think it'll affect us too much here because we're not a high tax area, but some of the bigger cities, certainly folks are going to be hurting.
Well, it's true, and everyone should be reminded that when Trump was elected in 2016, took over in 2017, that was his big plan was to cut taxes. Mm-hmm. And he can, the Republicans controlled the House and the Senate, and Ryan, that guy from Wisconsin that was a rhino or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
The only way they would agree to it was that it had, are you ready, a grandfather clause. Mm-hmm. And so the grandfather clause was it had to be voted on again. And, it's one of those things, you look at it and you go back to Reagan and there was no grandfather clause on his, cut in taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. Let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, hi, this is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
And I've enjoyed all the politics and all the aspirations and possibilities, and I'm not going to comment. On more of that. I want to get back. I sent you a text that was late last week, and it's just been on my mind that I should mention it on the show.
Sure.
One of the callers called up and wanted to know what carbon-14 dating was.
Mm-hmm.
How they could possibly measure back ages and things. So quick chemistry, carbon is number 6 in the periodic table of the elements. 6 neutrons and 6 protons and 6 electrons that fly around it. And then neutrons, and carbon can have different isotopes, they call it, depending if they have isotopes and give off radiation. And carbon-14 does. It was discovered by Willard Libby in 1946. And you can go back in time once, we're carbon-based life form, and a lot of things have carbon in them. So when they take in the carbon, and then the carbon-14 starts to decay, you can measure the ratios there, and you can go back 60,000 years within 25, 30 years of being precise and measure things with carbon in it. And here's my favorite ratio of isotopes. Chlorine-36 and chlorine ratios are a prized way to date pack rat mittens. The North American pack rat mitten database goes back 38,000 years. The chlorine-36 ratio changes in their urine, and they build their mittens out of a urine slurry and all types of plants and pieces of food and stuff from their range, which is only like 250 yards. And scientists can take these pack rat mittens apart and gain all types of historic paleo-environmental data. Any questions?
No, but I just want to say the other great science is DNA, because it has, time. There's no time limit on DNA too, and that's been the other science that's been so remarkable and changed so many things as well.
Well, yeah, don't get me started on that. I've seen studies where they scrape walls and soil, and they can tell what animals have been in there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe one day the police will have a little gizmo that they can go into a crime scene and wave this thing around, and it'll record the DNA of who was in that room. Who was there.
Oh, AI is going to provide that 100%. Yeah.
The possibilities are endless, but I wanted to thank you for the show and not get into politics and do some science.
Well, amen.
Yeah.
Always
I love science, buddy. You're welcome. Anytime.
Always a pleasure, Jeff. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
All right, you too. Thanks. All right, yeah. Science Today will continue in just a moment. I've got a couple text things I got to read.
Okay.
Sadly, our vote doesn't matter in primaries. Stupid states will get to vote and decide. Yeah, that's pretty true. That our 3 or 4, I guess we got now, electoral votes really don't have a whole lot to say. But what we've always said is all politics are local. What happens in your city, what happens in your city commission, your county commission, is going to affect your life a whole lot more than who's sitting in the White House. So keep that in mind when our primary comes around in June. You'll be voting for a lot more than just Biden or Trump or Haley or whoever happens to be on the ballot. So there you go.
Makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Barack would rather Biden be elected than Michelle. Yeah, I believe that. I think he would. Well, I don't think Michelle. I mean, she has overwhelming popularity, and I don't think that she would endanger that popularity, Shane, by trying to. I mean, so many bad things can happen to you as president. I mean, she's already been through that with Barack. She knows. That not every day you're beloved,
That's right.
Yeah. Let's take another call. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, I just got to say, it's mornings like these, driving into work, even though I'm a little late.
Yeah.
This is why I live in Montana. But listening to that last caller, I often wonder if God himself laughs or cries more looking down on this population of humans and seeing that some of us can be as smart as that guy and the rest of us can believe that a man can become a woman.
Yeah.
That's all I got, man. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks for the call. Yeah. Well, earlier we were talking about Caitlin Clark being the top scorer of, in women's basketball.
Yeah.
And, I was going to say, yeah, she's all the tests are in. She's 100% female. Yeah, she's not a trans who broke the women's record. She's an actual living female that is a pretty good basketball player. So she'll be.
Hey, with that ability, she could play in the NBA.
Well,
as a woman,
there's possible, but she'll be.
Yeah.
They're predicting her to be the number one pick in the WNBA draft, and although she does have another year of eligibility, she could stay at Iowa for another year, Shane, even though she's a senior.
Yeah.
Due to COVID, they gave everybody who was playing during that time and restricted play and mass and all that stuff. They gave everybody who was playing in college at that time another year of eligibility. So she could go back to Iowa again, continue that record, and maybe be the amass points that could never be challenged. So,
well, that's right. Of course, she's going to do that. She wants to be the woman GOAT of basketball. She's great.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. She may opt to. She's already had 4 years of college. She's 22. She could go in the WNBA. She won't make the money that LeBron and Jordan make, but she'll make a pretty good paycheck, I think. Plus all the endorsements that are going to come her way. She's well spoken. She's, I think she has a fortune waiting for her, and can comfortably retire at 30 or 33 and have a nice life.
And on top of that, she could save the Women's National Basketball Association, because people might actually want to go out and see her. So, right now,
Well, everywhere she goes, they're selling out, and so I think she would do that in the pros. The other reason I think she would probably go into the WNBA rather than another year at Iowa is injury. If she had a season or a career-ending injury at Iowa, then all that money obviously would go away. So I think she's pretty well done. She's healthy and ready to go, and I think the draft's coming up this summer, and I think she'll go for it. So that's my thought.
Well, interesting call. Okay.
Yeah. Dan Bongino says Michelle is too shy to run. And Bongino was sent by God. So there you
are. Yeah, sure. There you
go. Let's see. The guy replacing George Santos has big astronaut boots to fill.
By the way, can I just comment on something?
Go
the last caller. I just, I'm a Christian of faith in my Lord Jesus Christ. And, the one of the most impressive miracles of Christ, our Lord, was choice. That, He gave us choice. So, I don't think that
free will gave us free will.
Yeah, free will, choice. So
I
don't know that He's looking down and saying you're not being good kids.
Yeah. All right. From our text line, 478-8298, regarding Jeff's call, pack rat urine. Now my day is complete.
That's a good one.
Folks, I got to tell you, you don't hear this kind of information on other shows. That's why we're where we are.
that should go viral.
From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, carbon-14 flaw, volcanic eruptions, and enormous irradiated carbon in the atmosphere. It creates a false negative. Earth is nearly 10,000 years old. Written history on the first day was all dark. So, for whatever that means. So,
whatever that means.
Yeah. So.
Well, you don't have to believe science. You know, I mean, everybody believes, phony Fauci, fake Fauci.
Mm-hmm.
And, in February of 2019, I called him phony Fauci, fake Fauci. So
yeah.
Everybody criticized me for that.
One of the most impressive miracles of
Hello?
Yeah. What?
I was just saying, if you want to believe science, you can. If you don't, you don't have to.
Okay.
Choice.
The New York election on Tuesday was in Long Island, not Staten Island. So there. Trump said, Russia, I would encourage them to develop whatever the hell they want. The man is dangerous. Yeah. I don't have any problem with Rosendale wanting to further his career by running for the Senate, but if he were serious, he would have thrown his hat in the ring months ago. That's Jan from Livingston. Jan, thanks so much for signing your text, and thanks for listening. We appreciate you very much.
I think it'd be a fair statement to say. that every leader in the world is dangerous.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Being a Christian of faith is incompatible with being a Trump supporter. Show me where Jesus commanded us to hate others and mock them. Well, show me the leader without sin, and I'll start throwing the rocks.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah,
you nailed it.
Yep. All right, we're caught up, I think, on that part of it. So let's move on to other news, because we've got to talk about Russia in space. Russia's plan to put nuclear weapons in space, Shane. Man, what do you think? U.S. has informed Congress.
Well,
hang on. The U.S. has informed Congress it has new intelligence detailing Russia's desire to put a nuclear weapon in space, according to U.S. officials, in a move that could pose a major threat to international security. What do you think?
Well, first of all, sunspots are more dangerous to everything, in space. Number two, there's now over 800,000 pieces of garbage floating around in space from the last 60, 70 years.
I can't believe rockets can get out of the atmosphere without hitting one of those things.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, you've got the situation where a nuclear weapon, its viability is maybe the electric pulse that it creates. You would do more damage to the atmosphere at that altitude than to satellites.
Yeah.
So it's one of those mutually assured destruction situations that.
Yeah.
Why would you even go there?
Yeah. The scientists that perform calibration curves are aware of certain years with anomalies. I was trying to keep it quick. That's from Jeff, replying to our app chat about the volcanoes and everything changing, or affecting the results. So thanks, Jeff, for the clarification. Happy to have that on here. So,
well, archaeology and geology backs it up.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. If the theory of evolution was true, there would be an enormous amount of incremental fossils. This is a place in Wyoming that has a complete fossil record of 6 million years. Species disappearing with no evidence of any creature becoming another one. So evolution,
not
I
true.
guess you're talking about.
No, not true. The shark has probably had the longest life because of the extinction events that have gone on.
Yeah.
And up to 98% of all life in the oceans and on land have disappeared. But sharks have seemingly been able to survive.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time, and apparently when they deteriorate, there's nothing left. So they they don't have anything to test, or very not much to test anyway. Right. So, but yeah, well, evolution is one of those things. Homo sapiens and Neanderthals fought each other for 10,000 years, Shane, or 100,000 years, or something, before Homo sapiens finally won out. But yeah, evolution is a interesting and debatable thing that we don't have time to debate in the next 4 minutes we've got left. So, we'll probably.
Well, keep in mind a lot of it's based on scientific theory.
Yeah,
and a lot of it's based on scientific fact.
Yeah.
So it's the theory side of it that you're always dealing with.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Shane is a nuclear scientist. Let me tell you, folks, Shane has a resume of 462 pages. Okay, so there you are.
Well, thank you, Mike.
That's it.
Eagle Man.
He has been, if he hasn't done it, it's not worth doing. Oh, I don't know. With Trump encouraging
Yes, you do.
With Trump encouraging Russia to invade other allies, tell me why I should not be afraid of Trump 2.0. Well, if Russia invades the other allies, what are we going to do? Exactly what we're doing now.
Well, it doesn't matter now because they all announced in the last 2 weeks they're going to increase their, spending to 2% as they agreed.
Well, let's hope so.
Issue's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. Over with.
Well, I researched this, Shane, and I want you to know that Canada is one of the ones not paying their 2%.
That's right.
Yeah.
But,
so there you are.
He's managed to take our national debt from $600 billion to $1.5 billion. So thank you, Trudeau.
Trump promising to be a dictator for one day, as if any dictator was just one day. Should not scare any American. No, I'm not scared of it because I know we have a constitution, we got checks and balances, we have a Supreme Court, and we have people who can vote, and we have time restrictions on presidents. So worried, no thanks.
It's like nobody's heard of sarcasm or comic relief. Trump's actually a funny guy, I think.
Yeah, I thought.
I think he says a lot of funny things.
Well, that was one of them. Yeah, I'm going to drill. Yeah. On the first day, we're going to drill, and we're going to build that wall. So let's go.
That's right.
What's not to like? I don't think Nikki's going to build the wall on the first day, or drill.
No.
She going to open up drilling in South Carolina? I don't know. I guess we'll
find
out.
Off the coast? No. but they'll put windmills up.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get one more call in here before we have to go. Caller, you are on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, since you guys are so smart.
Well, thanks.
Is there some way maybe that we could stop investors from investing in Livingston?
Who's investing in Livingston?
Well, Bozeman.
Okay, you're losing me. I guess I don't understand what you're asking.
Well,
yeah, I don't understand the question.
There's an article in the Enterprise that says Bozeman is investing in Livingston real estate.
Huh.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, I don't know about that. We'll have to research it for next week.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. I'll look it up in the Livingston paper and find out what's going on.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the call.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, I don't know about. I don't know where would Bozeman get the money to buy anything in Livingston. I don't know. I'll have to ask our.
Well, then they need a bus service. So there you go.
Well, that could be. Yeah.
Then they need a bus.
Yeah.
Let's spend more.
If Russia invades Canada, per Trump's encouragement, USA won't come to their aid. So you're on your own, Shane. Just.
Yeah.
So
not a likely choice.
Yeah, you're
not a likely choice.
Your gun control laws are not going to be your friend. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, play the game of risk. He doesn't have the manpower to do that.
Well, that's
Too big a
true.
country.
Yeah. We no longer have checks and balances. Trump was impeached twice. He owns the GOP and the Supreme Court of the United States. So tell me what checks that will ever stop him. So sorry, Tom. Checks and balances are gone. Well, okay. I guess we'll talk about it next week. Say goodbye, Shane.
All right, my BFF. Thank you for everything you do to make this program work, and I really appreciate the time we spend together. And everybody knows me, so be happy, be safe, and live in the moment. That's all you have in this life, moment, and live to work, because you want to come home happy to your family, because everybody likes to see their family in a good mood.
All
So
right.
take care. Talk to you next week, Thomas.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you very much for everybody. Thanks for all the calls. Thanks for all the texts. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate you guys so much joining us every Saturday morning. And I am out of here, as I say.